Good afternoon, everybody. We have our first game of the 2024 Champions League. As always, I am Dan Tertaglione, also known as DStarTag1. For our first game, on the light side is Anthony Howard. On dark side, it is Timo Dusel. Timo going with, it looks like Watto. Anthony is playing his patented Bat 40 deck, Y40, versus Watto. Interesting to see this matchup. So, I'd like to see the chat say who they think that is going to win this game, but we'll see, we'll take a gander and see what's going on. Let's see. Oh, that's why. Okay, how about that? Does that work, Tommy? I had to go in and change a setting really quick, but Bat 40 versus Watto. Anthony Timo goes ahead and pulls out Grand Admiral Thrawn as well as Admiral Shirinu. Anthony does go out and play. He gets his All Wings combo, so he's going to pull himself a red 5. So that's a good start for Batmouse. On the top, he also uses their tracking us to go pull to activate a card. He does that after or before he plays the All Wings combo. Interesting. Okay, so here we go. Timo using Nichuba Na to pull everybody's favorite pod racer, Saboba. There's the Yavin Sentry and Goldenrod Shield from Batmouse. Saboba going down to Mos Espa. Uses the Watto's Junkyard to go get himself a Watto. Both of them do come down for free and will flip Timo from no money, no parts, no deal to you're a Fetz Fire Spray, or you're a slave. A little inside joke if you play Star Wars Unlimited. Got a few people watching in the chat, or in the in GEMP. Got a few people watching in the stream as well. Thank you for joining us today. And he's going to go get... He does take Watto's Chance Cube, so that's a good card for him to put back with the objective. So we are going to see Batmouse lose 2 cards here, even though he did activate 1. Yep, there's a card going down. I am expecting it to be the Watto's Chance Cube. Batmouse loses All Wings Report in and Dark Layer Spin, as well as their tracking. Yes, the 2 cards that he used earlier in his turn. As we see, Timo puts the card back into his use pile, and he draws the top card of his reserve deck using, doing that with Saboba V. Saboba, again, when you're a slave, places a card in your use pile, you may draw the top card of your reserve deck. It is a may, so you do not have to do it. Kylo Ren with lightsaber going down to Mos Espa, as well as Search and Destroy, so that's a really good start for Timo. Again, Timo was able to get the Search and Destroy as well as the Readily, it looks like, with his You Cannot Hide Forever and Mobilization Points. Yep, that is exactly what he did. So, Timo starting off pretty strong, doing 2 points of damage with the objective, and then doing another damage with the Search and Destroy, and he will make Batmouse lose. We're looking for me. Looks like Batmouse was able to get his 3PO out, so that's a good card for him. So let's see what Anthony is going to do this turn, as we see Timo uses Imperial Command to go grab himself Admiral or General. He's going to take General Grievous into hand. General Grievous kind of seeing a resurgence here now that a lot of the that Hitco does not make it so that your lightsabers cannot be stolen. Also, Kiss My Wookie, thank you for subscribing for 35 months. Great to see it. You're going to get yourself some nice little foils for doing that, I believe. Okay, Batmouse only activates 9 on his first turn. That's still not terrible. But he is thinking about what he wants to do here. So, okay, we're going to see Qui-Gon Jinn, Serene Jedi, go down to Watto's Junkyard right off the bat. Paid 6 for him. Now, he normally does deploy for 7. However, the Jedi's business reduces the cost by 1. Anthony's going to use Jedi business to pull an Episode 1 lightsaber. And there's a Jedi lightsaber V going down. Now, Anthony will not get a Battle Destiny at the Watto's Junkyard unless he can do something about Watto. But being that Teemo didn't have any force saves, so we're not going to see any barriers. The other thing is, you notice that this Watto does not utilize the Shizor's Bounty and Quietly Observing anymore. Anthony is going to take a swing at Watto. Draws a 1 for his first Destiny. Let's see, will he draw another? Will he draw 1 here and miss Watto? No, he draws a 5. He draws Your Brain Dead for his second Destiny. That's going to hit up the Junk Dealer. Watto is used, may not be used to satisfy for attrition for this turn. Does Anthony have any tricks here to get rid of Watto? He does not. Teemo draws a 4 for his Battle Destiny. So Anthony is down by 5 in power. So he's either going to have to... And he's going to peel cards. He's going to use the... He loses Are You Brain Dead? That flips Teemo back. Mace Windu. Disarmed. The Bith Shuffle. And another All Wings Report in and Dark Layer Spin. So Anthony taking a kind of a risk there, going down with no way of getting rid of Watto in the weapons phase. It does cause him to lose by 5, but being that Qui-Gon is a fully immune Dark Jedi, or a Light Side Jedi, not a Dark Jedi, or just a regular Jedi, he does not have to. He is going to lose some cards in essentially not in overflow, but just in damage. There's the battle plan from Batmouse. So if Teemo wants to pay 3 to drain from 1 at Mos Espa, he is able to. Watto comes back down from Teemo. Teemo had a Watto in his hand. Anthony did save 2 though, so now we see the You're a Slave coming, being part of the objective. Putting a card back down for Teemo. And Anthony is going to use It's Worse to reduce it. Or no, he loses It Worse and the Enhanced Proton Torpedoes, both off the top. So, again, and there's General Grievous coming down. As well as Admiral Ozzel. And Teemo plays First Strike to add a little bit of insult to injury on Batmouse. Really good starting turn for Teemo. Turn 2, getting out Ozzel, Grievous, First Strike. So Teemo is firing on all cylinders right now. Batmouse does play Aim High, so that's if Teemo does want to retrieve 1, he has to pay 1. He does want to retrieve. Anthony will lose a force here. He loses Kifix off the top. Watto is going to take out his Chance Cube again. Anthony takes a swing at Watto. Draws a 1 with Leia Organa V. And a 5. He draws Organized Attack, so very similar to what he drew last turn. Again, Watto is hit. And there's the Sorry About the Mess and Blaster Proficiency from Anthony. So Watto is about to go lost here. Unless Teemo does not have anything for that. So Watto does go lost. Sorry About the Mess goes into the lost pile as well, as Anthony lost Raid with Lightsaber off the top of his reserve deck. So now Anthony does get a Destiny at this point. He is down by 4 currently, as we see Teemo draw a 5 for Battle Destiny. Teemo sitting at 18. Anthony does get +2 to his total with Qui-Gon Jinn, Serene Jedi. As he draws a 4, so that's going to be a 6. So it's going to be... And there's a Dark Time for the Rebellion to subtract 1 for Teemo. So it is going to be just a 5. So it's going to be 14-18... And again, in Teemo's favor. Anthony will grab the Dark Time. spending 1. Again, Anthony is fully immune. As we see Sebulba go to the lost pile. And Anthony's just going to peel again. Batmouse summoning his full James Booker. As he peels some cards. There goes a Jedi's Levitation, a few maneuvers with Camino, and the Organized Attack. Now you got to think Teemo is going to slide Kylo Ren over. No, he's going to move Grievous over to Kylo Ren. And Admiral Ozzel, which then makes the Search and Destroy canceled and goes to the lost pile. Anthony with 18 force already in his lost pile after losing 5 and 4 in 2 battles. I believe it is the objective. On the 0 side, Qui-Gon is power +3 at the... So, kind of like Hyperdrive, which makes Darth Maul fully immune. Anthony does pay 3 to attempt to drain for 2. However, Teemo has the control set for stun, which cancels the drain. Anthony deploys 3PO with his parts showing to the Yavin 4 Masasi War Room. Now he can start looping cards from his deck. So he puts a card on top of his used pile to draw the top card of his reserve deck. Anthony, wanting to get to space at this point, doesn't have the Haven just yet, but no, he's just going to draw some cards and keep Qui-Gon at the Watto's Junkyard. Teemo currently only has 5 cards in his hand. Anthony sits at 9 as we move into Teemo's 3rd turn. Anthony utilizing the 3PO again, puts the top card from his hand onto the top of his used pile, draws the top card of his reserve deck. Teemo uses Nichuba Na to either pull a Malastare or a Pod Racer Arena. And there's the Malastare system. So we currently have 3 Battleground systems on the table. Teemo using Force Push and Pod Racer Collision as a lost interrupt. That's going to allow him to take 1 card out of his force pile, putting 2 cards back. Teemo down to 3 cards in his hand, and there's Watto going back down to the junkyard. Again, Teemo can make Batmouse lose 2 cards here. As we see him put a card down, face down. Yep, Anthony has to lose 2 cards, so there goes a Rapid Fire. And Jedi's Resilience, he loses the Rapid Fire from hand and the Jedi Resilience off the top of his reserve deck. As we see Darth Sidious going down in front of Watto. Teemo uses Lord Sidious to pull Newt Gunray into hand. And he'll initiate again. Retrieving that Force Push and Pod Racer Collision. Anthony will lose the Camino Clone Birthing Center from his hand. Anthony currently down by 2 in power. And swings at Watto again, drawing a Meditation. So again, the Junkyard Dealer is going to be hit here. And Haven. So we now know where the Haven is. So again, Watto is hit. Cannot be used to satisfy attrition. However, Anthony's not getting a Destiny right now. And Teemo will draw a 3 for his Battle Destiny, bringing his total up to 11. So again, Anthony is down by 5 in power. Will he lose 5 more cards here, or will he just lose the Qui-Gon? No, he is going to lose 5 more cards. Anthony, what are you doing, sir? As we see another Qui-Gon Serene Jedi go, Lost from the Hand, Haven, Mace Windu, Luke Skywalker V, and a Blaster Deflection. Luke Skywalker, not the card Anthony wants to lose right there. As we see Kylo Ren with lightsaber move on over to the junkyard, joining Lord Sidious. I specifically remember that part of the movie. As the Anthony activates 11. And we already saw that there's the Luke Skywalker in the Lost Pile, so Anthony's just taking a look at his deck and seeing what's in there. We know that there's levitation in the Lost Pile as well, so if you're a fan of Anthony Batmouse Howard, things are not looking good, I'm sorry to say. Yoda, Master of the Force, going down in front of Ozzel and General Grievous. Tebow pulls out Secret Plans. Yoda currently power 6. Timo has power 9 at the Mos Espa. Kit Fisto comes down, joining Yoda. As we do see Batmouse initiates. And it looks like, yep, the Secret Plans is going to make Anthony use 1. And he will not pay to retrieve 1. Timo loses double back off the top of his reserve deck. Anthony draws that 4 for Battle Destiny. Timo also draws a 4. Now, Kit Fisto and Yoda are both immune. However, Anthony's down by 1 in power, as he'll lose Meditation. Timo loses Admiral Ozzel. Anthony's still in his battle phase here. Batmouse taking his time, thinking about what he wants to do. Timo with 37 cards in his life force to Batmouse's 16. Both these players advanced from out of their respective pods. As we see, Batmouse does initiate another battle. This time, Qui-Gon initiating against Lord Sidious and Kylo Ren. Anthony took down Pod A, beating out Joe Olsen, Kuhn, and Mike Pistone. Timo advancing over Justin Carulli, Justin Miyashiro, and David Woods. Qui-Gon does hit Lord Sidious. Kylo misses Qui-Gon. Teemo loses Omnibox and It's Worse off the top of his reserve deck there to Kylo Ren. Teemo, our number 2 seed, finished with a record of he went 5-1 with a differential of 59. Batmouse finished at 4-2 with 18. So Anthony drew a 4 for his Battle Destiny. His total was 8. Teemo drew a 3. So Lord Sidious and Kylo Ren are both going to have to go to the lost pile here. Again, if you do want to check out and see the complete standings of the 2024 Champions League, all this information can be found on the Star Wars CCG forums. Yep, Teemo activates 10. Currently, right now, we have a few games already scheduled out for the 2020, this top 8. As Newt Gunray joins General Grievous at Mos Espa. Teemo initiates. Now he's going to get 2 Battle Destiny there. Yoda currently power 6. Kid Fisto currently power 5. So Batmouse is currently outpowering Teemo. Teemo with no cards currently in his hand. This Saturday, we will have Matt Harrison Trainer and Greg Shaw play their first game at noon Eastern. Sundays, Ryan Jelson and Sam Toshima will again play their first game as well at 4 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you guys tune into those. Teemo draws a 3 and a 4 for his Battle Destiny, bringing his total to 16. Batmouse draws BB-8, which is essentially 6.28319 and so forth for his Destiny. Now, that's going to make Grievous, at least General Grievous, go away. Newt Gunray does not cover enough, so there goes Newt Gunray first. General Grievous about to join him. As we see, Batmouse is taken Teemo completely off the board at this point. Teemo draws some cards, bringing his hand total size up to currently 4. He still has 1 card left in his force, and he will draw that. Teemo sitting at 31 in life force to Batmouse's 16. Anthony will activate his 12 force. And he is going to drain Teemo for some force. As we see the Jedi Lightsaber add 1 to the force slots there. So it's going to be 3 force going away for Teemo. As he'll lose, we must accelerate both from his hand. Darth Vader, the Emperor's Enforcer from the from his reserve deck. Batmouse drains at 2 at Mos Espa. As we see a Dark Time for the Rebellion from the reserve deck. As well as the Vengeance going lost. Anthony will use Qui-Gon to attempt to pull Meditation, but he misses on the Meditation pull from Lost Pile. And Teemo will get a look at Anthony's Lost Pile, as we know that there's quite a few cards in there currently. And Anthony is just going to draw some cards. We see that he does draw 1. He puts a card back with 3PO with his parts showing to draw the top card of his reserve deck, and he's just going to draw some more cards. Anthony right now he just wants to do as much damage to Teemo as he can to get some cards put out of Teemo's life force. Anthony with 12 cards in his life force to Teemo's 28. Teemo activates 10. As we see him deploy the Blockade Flagship Bridge. Not a bad idea to get more force out. However, that card can be used to as a card to lose during a force drain. Zuckuss and Forlom in the Mist Hunter go down to Yavin 4. It would be a drain of 2 location for Teemo, and Teemo is just going to draw some cards. Both players currently activating 12 on their respective turns. Teemo just, again, drawing cards out of his force pile. Might want to save a card in case Anthony does play an interrupt so he can grab it. And Teemo does save a card. Current life force totals are 24 for Teemo, 12 for Anthony. Anthony with 8 cards in his hand, Teemo with 5. But again, Anthony is going to drain for 5 this turn, I'm imagining. Pay 6 to drain for 5, not a terrible idea at this point in the game. We see Anthony activate 3. He's going to put a card back with 3PO. Clearly tracking what is in his deck at this point. Activates the rest. He activates 8 in total. Interesting. So he does save 1. Is he thinking about going down and fighting the Zuckuss and Forlom in the Mist Hunter? We shall see. And again, Teemo did save 1, either to grab a force with his grabber, or grab an interrupt, I'm sorry, or to pay for a possible Imperial Barrier. As we are in Anthony's control phase, he's going to attempt to play and get an interrupt. He does play an interrupt. He plays don't do that again. It's going to allow him to look at the top card or look at his reserve deck here, see what destiny it is. Let's see if either player announces to the chat. Nope, neither player will. Anthony does drain at the junkyard with Qui-Gon adding 1. It is a drain of 3. There goes a Boba Fett and Slave 1, Blast Door Controls V, and the Executor, all from the reserve deck. Anthony pays 3, drains for 2 at Mos Espa. There goes the Death Squadron assignment and Grand Admiral Thrawn, both off the top. Interesting to see that Teemo is lost all 5 force from his deck and not from his hand. And the last card that was in Batmouse's reserve deck was a Jedi Lightsaber. So he puts the Jedi Lightsaber onto Yoda. Anthony getting the game a little closer than what it was earlier. Teemo with 19 in his life force to Batmouse's 12. Again, this is game 1. As we see, Anthony puts down Red Squadron 1 with Wedge Antilles going down to Malastare. So Anthony knew exactly what he was doing, and there's his X-Wing laser cannon going on to Red Squadron 1. Batmouse hoping that Teemo is out of starships at this point, even though Red Squadron 1 and Wedge Antilles, Red Squadron leader, will draw Battle Destiny if unable to otherwise. Teemo activates his 12 force. He's got 13 in his reserve, in his force pile, 6 in his reserve deck. Batmouse puts a card back down with 3PO. Teemo will drain at Yavin 4. It is a drain of 2 up there. Batmouse loses Gray Squadron 1 and a Lando Calrissian Scoundrel, both from his hand. And Watto going back down to the junkyard in front of Qui-Gon. A Tempest Scout 6 going down to Mos Espa. Teemo wants to get as much damage in as he can. There is a card face down. As we see Meditation and Kian go lost. Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba go down, joining Watto at the junkyard. Timo uses one to initiate a battle with the first strike. He will retrieve Grand Admiral Thrawn. Batmouse has to lose one. He'll lose the Hujix from his hand. Watto will allow Timo to attempt to pull the Watto's Chance Cube. It is not in the reserve deck. Batmouse gets a verification here. Both players are at 6 power at the junkyard. Qui-Gon takes a swing at Watto. Draws a BB-8. That is enough right there to hit Watto. And draws red 5 for 2. So again, Watto is sliced, diced, and made into mincemeat. However, being that Watto is there, Batmouse will not get a Battle Destiny still. Timo draws a 2, so Batmouse is only going to have to lose 2 force here to keep Qui-Gon around. And I do anticipate Batmouse losing the 2 force. As Timo does flip back. And now, Timo's in a little bit of an interesting situation. Timo going to have to move that Tempest Scout Walker or Dr. Evazan. And unfortunately, the good Doctor and Ponda Baba cannot hide inside the Walker, as it does not have enough room for the 2 characters that are on a 1 character card. And we will see Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba move in front of Yoda, joining the Chicken Walker. As we do move on into Batmouse's turn. Anthony activates 6. He does not save enough to swing at Dr. Evazan and cause Battle Destiny. But I believe he is tracking some stuff here. Anthony drains for 2 at Malastare, causing an Imperial Barrier, and We Must Accelerate Our Plans. Both go lost. Barrier from hand. And the We Must Accelerate from the deck. Now, Timo does have 20 cards left in his life force, but again, Batmouse is just inking, like, doing the grind here and just chipping away at Timo. And I do, yep, there's a question from Batmouse as he asks to revert back to the activation phase, as he realized the mistake. Timo, being the amazing guy he is... Oh no, he does not go back to the activation. He goes back to the control phase. Batmouse saying he cannot count, as we do see him draw, or he does drain at Malastare. Yeah, I think he was trying to revert back to the activation to make sure that he could hit the Dr. Evazan and the Walker. Batmouse drains for 3 at the junkyard. There goes a Sebulba V, Gunna Gleamore, and No Escape off the top. Timo down to 17 in life force. Batmouse initiates. Pays 1 to initiate. Will he retrieve? He does retrieve with the first strike. He retrieves a Rebel Barrier. Timo loses Force Push and Pod Racer Collision off the top of his deck. as he does draw a BB-8 for his Battle Destiny, bringing his total up to essentially 13. Teemo draws a 1. Now, I believe both the Walker and Dr. Evazan both have to go lost here. And they will cover both the attrition and the battle damage. Yep, there goes the Walker and Dr. Evazan as well. Teemo with no cards in his hand. Wouldn't mind seeing Batmouse move in front of the Zuckuss and Forlom in Mist Hunter with the Red Squadron 1. As we see Anthony place Walkling out of play, he's going to have to pay 1 to retrieve 1. As he'll retrieve Red 5. The card itself kind of doesn't matter at this point. He just needs the life force. As Anthony brings his total back up to 10 in his life force, and we see Anthony is going to just draw some cards. I think he is at this point okay with having Teemo pay to drain for 2 at Yavin 4. Teemo with 16, Anthony with 9 in his life force, but he does have 2 cards in his hand. Teemo activates and drains for 2 at Yavin 4. There goes I Don't Like Sand. And Escape Pod and We're Doomed, both the I Don't Like Sand from hand and Escape Pod and We're Doomed from deck. Teemo at this point debating if he wants to draw some, and yeah, he is going to draw some cards. However, what's interesting is now Teemo's going to take a lot in force loss here. He's actually going to be taking 8 in total to drains from Anthony. And Anthony, at this point, doesn't have to pay. Teemo with 8 in life force, 8 in hand. Anthony with 8 in life force and 1 in hand. Teemo will put Imperial Command back to just take a look at his deck and see what's in there. I will say this, you have to give it some credit to Anthony Howard here, making the plays and doing what he needs to. As we see Teemo plays Projective Telepathy to make it so that Anthony has to use 2 or cancel the drain at the junkyard. And I believe Anthony, yes, he will pay 2 to drain for 3. There goes the Watto's Chance Cube, the Nagok War Beast, and Admiral Shiranub, all from Teemo's hand. Anthony drains for 3 at the Mos Espa. Again, it is normally a drain of 2. However, the lightsaber adds 1. P-59, Weemus Accelerator Plans, and a Kylo Ren with lightsaber all go lost from the reserve deck. Anthony drains for 2 at Malastair. However, he's going to attempt, and he draws a 7 for his destiny. That is going to make that system liberated. It is going to be a drain of 3 plus 1 to stack a card underneath Malastair. So, essentially, Teemo losing 4 in the process. Masterful move. Mara Jade with lightsaber and a Gik all go lost for Teemo. Teemo with 2 cards in his hand. He's got 4 in his life force. Anthony, content at this point of what is going on. However, no, he's going to move the Red Squadron 1 over in front of Zuckuss and Mist Hunter, Zuckuss and Forlom in the Mist Hunter. He does have enough force to shoot the X-Wing cannon. Teemo with the Voyeur from hand. Naming, he does name Rebel and Artillery, so Anthony is going to have to lose 1. As Teemo decides to use the card used instead of lost. Batmouse loses Han, Chewie, and the Falcon V from his hand. Timo, 5 cards in his Life Force, 1 in hand. Anthony, 8 cards in total in his Life Force. Timo activates 3, saving 1. As we see him initiate. Timo retrieves the Gick here. Batmouse loses BB-8 off the top. Anthony's going to take a shot with the X-Wing cannon here, using 3. And he draws a 7 for his weapon destiny. The Zuckuss and Forlom and Miss Hunter are going to be immediately lost. Timo draws. He's got 7 in his Life Force to bet. He's got 7 cards in total. Anthony, 7 cards in his Life Force. And this is actually going to do it. Batmouse is going to drain enough to cause Timo to lose game 1. Timo in the chat asking if they can do game number 2 right away. I believe Anthony at this point is at work. As we see Batmouse drain at Mos Espa. Batmouse saying he cannot do it. Yeah, he's currently at work. So we're not going to get game number 2 right away here. As we see the Gick, the Imperial Command, and the Voyeur all go lost for Timo from his reserve deck. And that's going to be it for game 1, everyone. Batmouse, as he drains Timo out for 3 at the Watto's Junkyard. What a play by Batmouse, getting down by 30-some cards really quick to winning the game plus 7. That's game 1, everyone. So again, thank you all for tuning in to our game. Again, we're going to have more coverage of the 2024 Champions League as we have this Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. Matthew Harrison Trainer, our number 1 seed, against the number 2 seed, Greg Shaw. This Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern is Ryan Jelson, our number 3 seed, versus our 6 seed, Sam Tashima. Again, thank you all for joining in. It has been a pleasure as always. Until next time, everybody, enjoy yourself. Have a good Thursday. And as always, may the Force be with you. Good night, everybody.